Okay. So, as we read in Romans 9 and 13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So, where is that written? It's in the Old Testament. Malachi, the first chapter, the first to the third verse. Let's read it. Malachi 1 and 1. The burden of the word of the Most High to Israel by Malachi. So it's to Israel. You can't make it be to anyone else but Israel. It says to Israel by Malachi from the Most High. He said, I have loved you, said the Most High. Yet ye say, wherein have thou loved me? Or loved us? Salakia. The Most High already said, I loved you. And then here we come back and say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Most High. Yet I love Jacob. Hear what he said? Yet I love Jacob. And I hated Esau. So when y'all say the Most High is all about love, he just telling you that he hated Esau. So when you understand how the Most High feel about Esau, which is the biblical name for the Edomites or the indigenous so-called Caucasian people, he said, I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So it's letting you know, clear indication that Esau was given mountainous area, the mountains, like Caucasus Mountains, from the Caspian Sea to the Black Sea, in between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea in South Georgia, Russia. So, here it is here, but I mean, everybody flipping out. Most likely he loved us, but he ain't always love us. So we messed up. For real, for real. Look at Psalms 106 and 40. Well, let's read verse 39 and 40 so you understand. When you Edomites want to get an attitude, or you Israelites in the Gentile mind want to get an attitude, look at this. Psalms 106 and 39. Thus were they defiled with their own works. It's us, the children of Israel, and went a-whoring after their own inventions, things that we created outside from the Most High. Therefore was the wrath of the Most High kindled against his people, the Israelites, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance. So don't get it twisted. The abhorred meaning he hated us too, and gave us to the enemies, gave us over to our enemies in slavery, captivity, and bondage. So let's go to Romans. Back to Romans, so you understand. Regardless, the Most High loves us because we still here. He could have got rid of us, period. Like I say, he could have raised up some stones to be his people. The last thing he told John the Baptist, told Moses, he could raise up, a whole nation not from him. We come from Jacob. Just read that. We all come from Jacob. Jacob had, he said, a nation, and the company of nations going to come from him. We all come from Shem, Ham, and Japheth and their wives. Everybody you see in this world today. So understand this. So going back to Romans 1 and 7, it says, to all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High. So we already read that. Romans 9:13 says, Jacob have I loved. So he loved the Israelites, called to be saints. So who are the saints? Psalms 148 and 14. Psalms 148 and 14. Prove who the saints are. He also exalted the horn, which is the power of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. That's who the saints are, the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Most High. So we just identifying who the book of Romans is talking to. Predominantly, like the whole Bible is talking to the Israelites. And other nations are involved as they become involved in the conversation, which is the word of the Most High, as we read it. He said, to all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, who are who? The Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, 12 tribes of Israel, called to be saints. We just defined the saints. Grace to you and peace from the Most High, our Father, and Mashiach Yahushua, our Master. So it says grace to you. So is grace to everyone? Is grace to everyone? That's the question. I mean, I'm just trying to establish something here so that there's no doubt about it in your minds as far as who is talking to. And once we establish, you know that we established the saints in Psalms 148 and 14. We are the saints, the children of Israel. So who is the grace given to? That's the question. Because he says, beloved of the Most High, to the saints, grace unto you. So let's see who the grace was given to. Wisdom Solomon 3 and 9. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, which is the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. And such as be faithful in love, which is keeping of the commandments of the Most High, shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints. So grace is only to the saints who are the children of Israel. And he have care for his elect, who are the 12 tribes of Israel. So clearly here, without a shadow of a doubt, with any type of discrepancy, we see here that he's talking to the Israelites. Paul is talking to the Israelites in Romans. But he's going to talk, he talked about other nations like he just said. He just said Esau in Romans 9:13. About them. You see what I'm saying? So let's jump up to Romans 1 and 13. Now that we established that, it says, now I would not have you ignorant. That means not knowing, brethren, that oftentimes I purposed to come unto you, but was let hitherto, that I might have some fruit among you also. I might have some fruit, those that will come into the knowledge of the truth also, even as among other Gentiles. He said, even as among other Gentiles. So we were scattered among the Gentiles. These other nations. Let's jump down to verse 16. Say, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Mashiach, for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation. Salvation, power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. So you read that, because, and you hear, especially Edomites, who are so-called Caucasian, because they say to the Jew and to the Greek. It's because it says to the Jew first and also to the Greek. But when you look back and it says, it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth. Now, salvation, I'm going to go to St. John 4:22. As far as salvation is concerned, who he said salvation was for. And that's power, roots, and authority on this earth. John 4:22. You worship, you know not what. A whole lot of people don't know what they worship. We know what we worship. He said, for salvation, that's power and authority, is of the Jews. That's why they asked him in Acts 1 and 6. They asked him a question in Acts 1 and 6. What they asked him? When they would therefore would come together, this after he died, rose on the third day, walked the earth for 40 days. He said, man, you back. They asked him this question. Acts 1 and 6. When they therefore will come together, they asked of him, saying, Mashiach, Yahushua, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? That's salvation to Israel. And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father has put in his own power. Only the Most High knows. That's what he told them. But I was just showing that salvation, restore the kingdom to Israel. He told them salvation of the Jews. The Israelites. So going back to Romans 1:16, it says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Mashiach Yahushua, for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation," which we know salvation is of the Jews. Esau's the end of the world. Jacob's the beginning of that follow. Jacob represent a company of nations, the 12 tribes of Israel. That's 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, meaning Esau would have to be ruling at the end of the world, and Jacob's the beginning of it, that follower. So it says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Mashiach, it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek." So why does it say Jew and Greek? Is it only for the Israelites and so-called white people? Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? When in your religion, do you teach that? Do you read that and that's how you break that down? Just asking a question. Because I hear it all the time. I've heard it for years and years and years. To the Jew and to the Greek. So just to the Jews and to the so-called white people? That makes sense? No. Why it says to the Jew and to the Greek? Remember, who's he talking to? He's talking to the Israelites. And he's going to explain it as we go in here and we see. Go to First Maccabees so you understand what happened. And this is something that you understand when you go to Malachi. We just went to Malachi, the first chapter, first to the third verse. But when you get to Malachi 4, 5, and 6, the last verses of Malachi, that is the Persian and Mede Empire. So what happened to the Greek Empire? Because when you get to Matthew, we in the Roman Empire. Here go the Greek Empire right here in the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha? I don't want to hear. The Apocrypha? This is the Greek Empire between the Old Testament and the New Testament. They took it out. But here it is. So we're going to see why it says to the Jew and to the Greek. You know, this is a mystery that's been withheld from our people because we don't read. We don't know. We got to be taught. All of us. We have to be taught. Listen. Go to First Maccabees, the first chapter. And, well, verse 1 let you know that the Greek came into power. Just to show you that. The first book of the Maccabees, 1:1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, this is Alexander the Greek, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persian and Mede. See? He had defeated Darius, the king of the Persian and Mede. The Persian and Mede Empire was, like I'm telling you, when you read the book of Malachi, we're in the Persian and Mede Empire. Here go the Greek Empire and the Apocrypha that the Protestants took out. Alexander the Greek, the first, let me read it, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persian and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. See? Alexander the Greek. You know, you heard about him. They teach you about him. First thing, they're like civilization began with the Greeks, which is a lie. But, you know, you believe whatever you want to believe. But look at First Maccabees 1:9. It says, and after his death, after Alexander's death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so that their sons after them, his 4 generals, many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. When they came into power, evils were multiplied in the earth. As we look at Job 9:24, it says, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Mashiach Shai coming to judge and make war. You know, told the 12 apostles they're going to sit on 12 thrones and judge the 12 tribes of Israel. Covered up the faces to this day with this lie. So, that's the wicked. And evils multiplied in the earth when they came into power. This wicked king Antiochus came into power. So now, when you read verse 11, it says, in those days went there out of Israel, our nation, the Israelites, wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. See? So, we continue, it says, verse 13, then certain of the people, who are the Israelites, were so forward there herein that they went to the king, wicked King Antiochus, this Edomite, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. So they start being heathens. A license meaning that nobody could mess with them because they were protected by the Greek government. Now this is what happened. Why it says to the Jew and to the Greek. So this part is missing out of the original, not the original, but the revised 1611 Bible. Go to 2 Maccabees. I'm going to get right to the point. 6 and 6. 2 Maccabees 6 and 6. It says, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts. See? Ancient feasts or Sabbath days. Every 7 days, Sabbath day, couldn't keep it. Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. See? So it was against the law for our people to confess that they are Israelites. So that's why it's no different than if you ask our brothers and sisters, what's your race? What's your nationality? They'll say African American. They'll say they're American. Right? So it's no different here. They are Israelites, they're truly Israelites, but they're saying that they're Greeks. That's why he's saying in Romans 1 and 16, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Mashiach, for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. But they are both Israelites. You just read, well, hopefully you read it. I read it to you if you didn't read it yourself, that it was against the law for our people to call themselves Israelites. So what do they call themselves? Greeks. Let's continue. It says, for therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed from faith to faith. As it is written, the just shall live by faith, believing in the Most High. For the wrath of the Most High is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness, unrighteousness, and unrighteousness of men, who hold the truth in unrighteousness, who hold the truth, which is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Psalms 119, 142, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So the laws of the Most High is the truth, who hold the truth was keeping the laws of the Most High in unrighteousness, like it's against the law to follow the laws of the Most High. Just like you say, the Greeks were like what? You couldn't keep the laws of the Most High. You couldn't keep the Sabbath, couldn't keep the feast days and the laws of the Most High. And then you look at, you go back again, go back to 1 Maccabees, the first chapter. Not only that, it was ordained before that how wicked Israelites were, you know. Go to 1 Maccabees 1 and 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus, this wicked Edomite king, wrote to his whole kingdom, the Greek kingdom, that all should be one people. That sounds like New World Order, don't it? And everyone should have everyone should leave his laws. All the gods of the nations are idols. They deal with idolatry anyway. Leave his laws. It was mainly toward us, the Israelites. So all the heathen, these are the nations outside from the 12 tribes of Israel, agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, many also of the Israelites, let you know that these heathen are different from the Israelites. Yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. That's a religion. And sacrifice unto idols and profane the Sabbath. See? For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land. See? They're like people following the laws of the land that fit them this day. He started coming up with some law. I like that. It soothes them to feel a certain way because of a law that's passed here, even though it's contrary to our customs. Go for it. See how the Most High deal with you. Going back to Romans 1. Verse 19. Because that which may be known of the Most High is manifest in them, for the Most High have shown it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead and powerhead, so that they are without excuse. Ain't no excuse. You know this is from the Most High. What he made that was invisible, even in our thinking, was invisible to us. He made it visible that we can see. Even a lot of you read these words that you see in the scriptures you never seen before. In understanding what it is that you've seen. That's what I mean. Because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High. Neither were thankful. That's very important. That we know the Most High, we claim we know the Most High. Thank the Most High. Thank the Most High for everything. Thank the Most High. His words be praised for everything. But see, like it says, because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High, neither were thankful, but became vain. How? In their imaginations. And their foolish heart was darkened. It's these Greeks that we just read about. Israelite Greeks, Israelite Americans. What's your nationality? I'm American. They put American on it, but it's no different than what we say we're Greeks. No damn well your daddy ain't no white man, so-called white man. But you put, and it's sad because you look at African America, two continents, you're talking about your two men got together and had you, right? What's your race? You are from your daddy, right? So which one of them had you? You come out of which one? They laid down and had you, right? Amerigo Vespucci and Leo Symphorus Avocados, right? Which one of them had you, though? And I don't think no man can have no baby, right? Something new under the sun. But I mean, you saying that's where you came from. Exclude your daddy, and all that. Just because you are who your daddy is. The man lay with the woman. The seed of the man determines who you are from your genealogy, from your daddy. Daddy. But you see what we did? It says, but became vain. See, you became vain in their imaginations. And their foolish heart was darkened. That's why you read, I quote it all the time, but, Ecclesiasticus 3:24. Ecclesiasticus 3:24. For many are deceived by their own vain or worthless opinion. Don't mean nothing. Just talking. And an evil suspicion has overthrown their judgment. No different than what he's saying here. But became vain. Romans 1:21. But became vain in their imaginations, the way they thought. Like we just read. That was vain. In their imaginations, to just try and be like the Greeks and take on their customs. Their wickedness, sacrificing swine, and we ain't supposed to touch a dead pig carcass, knowing better, but doing just wicked stuff. But became vain in their own imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Foolish mind, that's your imagination. Your heart is your mind, was darkened, became ignorant, as it is today. Professing themselves to be wise, thinking they know something, became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Most High into an image made like unto corruptible man. Idolatry. And to birds, idolatry. And four-footed beasts, worshiping four-footed beasts and creeping things, representing the Most High. Wherefore the Most High also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts. That's why the Most High said, leave the northern tribes alone. He said, hey, leave them alone. They deal with idolatry. This is what he's talking about here. The ones they say to the Jews, to the Greeks, same ones. Wherefore the Most High also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts. Gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own minds. To dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Ugh. That's a men with men and women with women stuff. So, I mean, it goes into it about us doing those kind of crazy stuff. So let's go to Proverbs 4 and 7. Because that's let you know they went off. It was off. That's why he's saying to the Jew and to the Greek, and then he's going to go into it. They still Israelites. Wisdom, which is the proper application of knowledge, is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, which is the proper application of knowledge, and with all that getting, get understanding. So we got to get understanding. So let's go to what the Mashiach Shai said. Go to Matthew. We're going to keep it simple. Matthew 10:5. Matthew 10 and 5. What he told the 12 apostles. Matthew 10 and 5. These 12, Mashiach Shai sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not, don't go, into the way of the Gentiles, and enter any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. And into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. So he said, don't go to the Gentiles and don't go to those that are in Samaria. Into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he told them, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's clear. Meaning don't go to no one else but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Tell them, the Israelites, that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He didn't say go to no one else. Because Romans 2 and 14. Romans 2 and 14. For when the Gentiles, now this dealing with these other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, because you got two types of Gentiles. You got the Gentiles that are the other nations that they call heathens. Because Gentile only mean Goyim, which means nations. And you have the Gentiles that are outside from the 12 tribes of Israel, and you have the Gentiles that are the 12 tribes of Israel. In a different state of mind. It don't take a rocket science to figure this out. Because a lot of you Israelites, you ask your people, what are they? Jew or Gentile, what they going to tell you? I don't care how long you've been in the truth. Still what? Gentile. Gentile. That's the day. We reading the Bible. Fits right along with what we're going to see. How they felt then, same spirit's coming back now. They still feel they Gentiles. And they tell you the oh no, I ain't going to be no Jew because the Jews killed Christ. Is that what they say? Some of y'all might not talk to them enough, but I know. That's what they say. Been grafted in. Got to speak in tongues. Got to be filled with the Holy Ghost. All that. It's doctrine of men. Has nothing to do with the truth. We're going to see. Romans 2 and 14. For when the Gentiles which have not the law, I thought, wait a minute, the Gentiles don't have the law? Wait a minute now. Well, who's the law given to? Psalms 147, 19 and 20. Because it said the Gentiles which have not the law, so Who's the law given to? Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. See? And as for his judgments, meaning the punishments for breaking the laws, they have not known them. Praise ye the Most High. So he only showed his word unto the Israelites. His statutes and his judgment unto the Israelites. So it's going back to Romans 2 and 14. It says, for when the Gentiles, these other nations which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. There ain't no law unto the Most High. My second say a law unto themselves. They doing whatever they're doing and following the laws that the Most High has laid out for the Israelites. He say they're a law unto themselves. Say, because look what he's saying in 1 Corinthians 10. 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, and 20 and 21. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice or worship, they sacrifice to devils. Wow, they say they worship devils. They sacrifice to devils and not to the Most High. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. So he's telling we ain't supposed to have fellowship with them. Because he called them devils. Because they sacrificing the devils. He don't want us to be fellowshipping with devils. He said, you cannot drink the cup of the Most High and the cup of devils. Choose either or. You cannot be partakers of the Most High's table. You can't sit here and feed yourself with the knowledge and understanding of the Most High at the Most High's table and of the table of devils. So you can't do it. Romans 1:16 again. See? That's why you look at our people and you understand this too. Some of our people are devils too. The Israelites. Don't get it twisted. Go to 1 John 3 and 10. In this, the children of the Most High are manifest, and the children of the devil. So the devil got children too. That's why I say that Gentiles sacrifice to devils. And our people that want to sacrifice with devils, they devils too. And the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness, whoever don't want to follow righteousness is not of the Most High, neither he that loveth not his brother. So you don't want to do righteousness? You go to church and you teaching that you're not under the law, you don't believe that you're under the law? What's righteousness? Deuteronomy 6:25. Deuteronomy 6 and 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High our power, as he hath commanded us. That's how you be righteous. Doing the Most High's commandments. So if you taught you're not under the commandments, you're not under the law, then you're the children of the devil. Straight up. 1 John 3 and 10. In this the children of the Most High are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness, keepeth the commandments of the Most High, the laws of the Most High. Like a lot of you churches say, we ain't under the law, we're in the mercy and grace. I just proved that the mercy and grace is to the saints who are the 12 tribes of Israel. So that's a lie. You've been lied to in that. You regurgitate the same thing that I'm telling you, you hear it. For all those that go to church or been to church or are still involved in it. Some type of religion. It says, whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of the Most High. You don't want to follow the commandments of the Most High? You don't want to learn the 613 laws of the Most High? You don't want to learn the moral laws, the civil laws, the dietary laws, the ceremonial laws? Then you of the devil. You the children of the devil. Neither he that loveth not his brother. See? But it's the message that you heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. You don't love your brother, you the children of the devil too. So he don't want us to be fellowshipping with devils, it says. That's why you'll say, well, why are y'all separate? Like, the religions just take everybody. Because the Most High separated us. He called us to be separate from everyone. We didn't have no dealings with other nations. Romans 1:16. I mean, as far as, just being around them and picking up their ways. Anything, they're supposed to pick up our ways in righteousness. But no, they want to go against it, so therefore they're the children of the devil. Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Mashiach, for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth, everyone that have faith. That's belief, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. To the Jew first and also to the Israelite that calling himself a Greek, as we just went through 2 Maccabees 6:6. It was against the law to call yourself an Israelite. That's why you have all these Israelites that's growing up calling themselves Greeks. And when you understand how this affected our people, even unto this day, our people grew up and their parents taught them that they were Gentiles, so they call themselves Gentiles. They look at the Jewish people, ISH is a suffix meaning pertaining to being like myself, which is a Jew, or the brothers, and sisters that are from the tribe of Judah, or we all considered, from the waters of Judah anyway, Isaiah 48:1. So it's like pretending to being like an Israelite, and they're not the true people of the Most High. We are the Israelites, Israeli. Last I know, I sound is I and I, not E, but Israeli. Israel. What's the I sound? It's either I or I. So you let the I sound be an I. Is Israel lie? Mashal Shai said, you read Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9, they tell you they're the synagogue of Satan, and they do lie in claiming to be who we are as the children of Israel. All you do is read Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Most High shall send thee into Egypt with me, captivity, slavery, and bondage, again another time with ships. Can this apply to them? Did their whole nation go into captivity, slavery, and bondage on slave ships? No. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. They're going to see our homeland of Israel as the nation of Israel. And there, when you go on these ships, you shall be sold unto your enemies. Were they auction off on auction blocks? The Jewish people today? No.